Hello everyone. Well, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and I'm going to very quickly, first I'm going to show you some new laces in my shop and tell you a little bit about what's going on while I'm making some flowers. So these are some flowers I made, and I just want to show you some simple ways to make some flowers, and we will do this after I show you a few laces. And I usually show my laces when, usually first on Facebook, in my Facebook group. So some of you may have already seen these really quick. These ones no one has seen because these three right here are going to be, I just got them today and they will be in my shop soon. Probably list them tomorrow. That's these. And then this is a new one. I thought it was perfect for spring. This yellow, and right when I know I sold out on most of my other a lot of my laces I'm selling out because people are, those are the same ones, are purchasing a lot right now. People, I think, are home and they're trying to craft, and maybe they're not finding the items at their same local places they normally do. But I'm just going to show them really quick. This one is also in my shop. I have it in these colors, and it's like a very shabby trim. Now, after I'm done showing you just a few, it's not going to take long showing you the laces because I don't like to just sell my laces all the time. But I mean, I like to sell them in my shop, but I don't like to show you on YouTube that much. And then I have this one. This one is an interesting color. I call it minty blue because it almost has like a green tint to it, and it looks vintage to me. This one, I only have a few more yards left. I keep on selling this one a lot. So these are already in my Etsy shop, and usually to find my Etsy shop, you always look for Crafty Devotion. I am on Etsy, and just search Crafty Devotion and you'll find my shop. And I just got a few dangle laces. So this is one I already in my shop. So some of you who are looking for the really long ones, I don't know, this is probably 5 inches. I don't remember the exact. I'm not measuring everything. I'm not gonna tell you exactly. Just gonna quickly show it to you, and then when more people come on, I'll be done with that part and I will show you how to make those flowers there. I come on usually in the evening times when I have everyone's asleep. I've been really busy. I've been in my shop listing because a lot of people are looking for supplies. And the last time I came, I showed you the hats. I made several more pink hats, and those all sold in my shop also. So this one right here is one of the more beautiful ones I have. It's just a gorgeous. It's 9 inches. Like the longest one down here is actually 9 inches from the top. And I almost didn't want to put it in my shop because it's just my style. I like this type of stuff. These big old long things. See that? That's really pretty. I do have this in my shop right now also. Like I said, I'm just showing you so that you are aware. I like to let people know when I have new stuff in my shop, but some of you may not be shopping right now, and that's okay. But there are others that are. And here's another one. This one is 5 inches also. Another beautiful, gorgeous one. And you will find links for my shop in the description box of my of this. Just if you click on the corner, the little arrow that's usually in the corner, you'll see it. Now I do have my chat on, so if you do say something, I will try and answer you back. So you're welcome to ask any questions about things, but I really don't want to be here that long with this. I really want to make the flowers, but I thought I'd show these to you. So this and this one are very much the same. I only have 5 yards of each of these. And this one is more of a cotton color, and then this one is more of a creamy, and it's more of a synthetic, maybe polyester. So that's the difference in those two. So if there's something you've been looking for, I only have limited quantities of these in my shop. What was my last one I want to show you? Oh, this is kind of like that blue, minty blue I said, but it's more the pink one. This has been in my shop for a while. This one is a lot whiter. Same color. All right, that was fast, right? What? Took me less than 5 minutes. I don't like to, what I really wanted to do was, I said, okay, I need to go on. I haven't been on for a while. Let's make some flowers. And this is something I've been doing for a while, these flowers, and I'll show you what I used. Okay, I also have this lace in my shop. It is a very soft vintage. It looks so vintage. It's not vintage, but it looks vintage. And you can easily make a flower like this with it, which I'll show you what I did for this one. And this one is great because it's kind of small. How big did it come out? Around less than 2.5 inches there. And these ones are kind of small too. These are perfect size for using in your projects. Okay, so I'm going to make these, and then I have this one right here. It's a really small little pink lace one. And I'm using some of the, I decided, well, how else to better show some of my stuff, but instead of just showing you my laces and talking about you and boring you, let's give you guys something to do. And you may actually have some of these types of things in your stash already. So that's why I decided I'm going to do that instead. So let's start with this white one right here, because they're going to all be very similar, but just a little different. This one is not using my technique. I just placed this in my shop yesterday. It's a ruffle lace. It's very lightweight satin, and it's like a pleated fold to it. And I love to make flowers with these types of things. And one other idea was for me to get help you to understand, like, how many flowers can I get out of a yard. So what I did was I decided to try to work with like 9 inches, which would be a fourth of a yard, right? 9 times 4 is 36. 9 is 18. Yeah, that's so we're gonna do 9 inches, and you may have something like this already in your stash. It's just a ruffled lace, and this one is 1 inch wide. Mine's 1 inch wide. If you have one and yours is not 1 inch wide, you may have to just adjust it to work for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off 9 inches, because so if you would get a yard of this, you would just cut it into fourths and you would be able to make 4 flowers. And so I'm going to cut off about 9 inches on this piece. There we go. And I like to make flowers out of all kinds of things. If you've seen my videos, you might have seen that. Oh, hi Marge. If you've seen my videos, you might have seen me make flowers out of so many things. And I more than just like, I use just fabric most of the time. But a lot of times I'll use some lace because it comes in handy and it looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to choose the pleats. You see the pleats in this? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to tell you about how many. Why can't you see anyone else? The other people would be commenting. Ask them to comment. Hey, anybody else there? You guys want to comment? Hi. Vicky from Texas is here. And Marge is here. Marge West. There you go. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're addicted to my teaching? I wish I had more time for teaching. My life has just changed a bit, and that's why I'm trying to do lives more often. And I don't like to just, here, you guys buy my laces, and that's all. I like to teach. I really do enjoy teaching. So, and I figured things all, hello, everyone. This Shirl's Craft World. See, people are up. Now the coronavirus, I want to give you guys just ideas. Try to use what you have in stock. You don't feel like you're committed to buy what I have, but I am using something that I do have in my shop because I'm trying to do that more often. I prefer doing that than telling you buy all my laces. Anyways, so I'm going to choose about 3 pleats, and I'm going to roll this to about 3 pleats. I'm going to mark it for you guys so you guys can see clearly, and I can actually, while I'm talking to you, I know that it's about 3. It's 1, 2, 3. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it. Just like I showed you how to do my puff flower, I do that with this. Okay, I just start rolling this in, and I roll and glue just the bottom part right here. So look how the flowers look. See how they look? So if you have something like this, or a ruffle lace, it might work also, because we're going to do the same thing with this pink lace that I have in my shop, and it makes a little smaller one. But I'm going to show you just the little tricks I found that I like, the way I like to do it. So go ahead and just roll about 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's about 3. And you can make them kind of tight because this is the center of it. So there's the center. It's not, they're never going to come out exactly the same. See that? And it's just such a pretty, easy flower. It's just not hard. And I've seen other people with this type of lace. So, and then what I do is that I do one more circle around. So I think I'm going to do maybe 2 more just to go all the way around that again. Okay. Then I stop there and I've made the bud. And then what I do is I go the opposite way. You might ask me, why are you going the opposite way? You'll see why. And this is a trick I've been using for quite a while. I have never revealed it to anyone. And sometimes things that I do, you might already be doing, but I experiment with things and I try to figure things out so that it looks better. Now I'm going the opposite way and I'm going in the circle, just using my hot glue. This is when I do my flowers and crafting, I use a hot glue. I use my Surebonder Mini, which I need a new one still. I haven't ordered it still. I don't know why I haven't ordered it, but I haven't. And then I use these Aztec Pro Strength glue sticks. I use these because these are made for only hot glue. They're not like the medium temperature glue. So if you think about it, it only melts at a high temperature. So that means that it melts, if it gets hot, it melts less. Okay, so now I've gotten it once around again. And then what I do is I turn it upside down. Actually, I don't usually turn it upside down, but I'm going to turn it upside down for your benefit. And then instead of like hugging it around and keep on going, which you can go keep on going. I'll show you by keep on going. And it looks beautiful. See that? But instead of keep on going like that, I actually start laying it down like this, like this. Can you see? I'm more laying it down as I finish my last ones, and it kind of opens up. Let me show you how it opens it up a little bit. It opens up the petals. So now you can see that this part, the satin's showing. And then when these start laying down, when I turned it around, the satin starts showing also. See how cute that looks? But I'm going to go ahead and finish it up. And this time I'm going to show you what I do again. So again, instead of like butting it up right here and touching, I lie it down next to it now. And that kind of opens it up a little bit, so it makes it a little bit bigger. Thank you. This is a simple one. I only have this in white. I had planned to order pink for a long time. I have a tiny bit of pink, but I don't have enough to put in my shop really. I have a couple of yards. And I do this. And so can you see how now I'm laying it flat just on top of each other. So when I start laying it flat, it kind of spreads it out more. So now what do you see? This side of my satin is a little bit matte, and it's like one-sided satin. That's why I do it that way. If it was two-sided satin, it wouldn't matter as much, like that first twist. But I want the satin to show more than the matte. Now, if you would want the matte to show more, I guess you can do it the opposite way. But this is how easy it is. So I'm going to show you with the lace also, and then maybe you have some ruffle lace. Ruffle lace for me is really hard to find. I find that I don't find it very easily, or if I do, I can't buy it to put it in my shop. My glue gun's so dirty because it's a little too pricey, and that's why I also got this other little lace, because I like to work with miniatures anyway. So there you go. Look how pretty that looks. See, and it doesn't have to, they're not exact, as you can see, but you can see now how the satin shows right there. And the satin, there's a little bit of matte showing right there where I twisted it. If you want, you can even snip it there if you want. You feel like having it come up and separating more, but I don't usually snip it. I just leave it and it just looks so gorgeous. If you wish, you can get a piece of felt and attach it to the back with a little more glue. That'll kind of make it even more secure. Um, like say you want to, you can, there's still enough room here where you can actually sew this on something if you want to sew it on, or you can stitch it when you're making it. But this was my easy flower. See, that took 10 minutes, huh? To teach you that one. Simple, easy. If you guys want to see that again, you guys tell me and I'll make another one. But right now we're going to go off to now the pink. Now this is a pink. I have this in my shop too. It's a little ruffle. And it's also pleated, like the pleated one. See that? And I actually did the same thing. And I did also do the same thing. I got 9 inches of it because I wanted to make them small. And I wanted you to see, well, if I buy a yard of this one actually is in my shop for like $2 a yard. It's not that pricey, but it's so versatile for, I like using it on different things because I like to, you guys saw me, I used this one on some of the hats that I made. If you looked at my hat, my pink hat, I used this along the ridge of my hat. Oh, you want me to make another angel? Okay, I'll make another one of those. I'll go back and make it after I do these two. That way, those who don't want to keep on watching it will just want to see the how I do it. Now this one will not matter as much. As you can see, I actually put something here on the bottom because I was experimenting. I put a little bit of felt. What I did with this one with the felt is I actually rolled it all and then I glued it with the felt. But this time I'm not gonna, I just kind of rolled it very loosely. So I'm gonna go ahead and again, this is a little bit harder because it's a lighter lace. So I kind of am rolling this, like folded it, and then I'm going to put a little glue. So be very, very careful with that. You're going to burn yourself. Okay. Hold it gently because if you push it hard, you know, if you're working with lace, it will, it could burn you because it'll go right through. So I'm going to put it a very light amount. And see, is that a piece of my hair? Oh gosh, lately my hair's been falling out or something. I find it in everything. I actually started putting a piece of tape on the side. So if I find a piece of hair, I could stick it there because I don't want customers getting hair on their stuff. So you can see I'm rolling it and look how pretty. It's just looking like a little rose. These are simple ways to make little flowers, and these can be used like you can put in the center of another flower if you make it a big flower. And it's just a simple way to add something. And so just a gentle bit of glue. And I'm holding this very gently. I'm not pushing hard. And I'm just putting a very little amount, and I'm actually putting most of my glue on the string that's there. You can see the string that holds the ruffle together. You can see it's just starting to make a little flower. And of course, if you keep on going, you could probably make this flower bigger, or you can use the same technique that other people use by putting it on a circular piece of, so what I'm going to start doing now, I'm going to experiment a little bit. My bling. Oh, yes, I have bling in my shop. If you guys are looking for jewelry, craft jewelry, I have it in my shop. Tons of different stuff. Right now, I actually have like this little acrylic I used on this one. I have a whole big old lot of acrylics. I don't know if it's $10 or $12, something like that, of acrylics. I also, if you're not in my Facebook group is usually where I try to tell you if I have lots. So I had made about 6, a lace lot of, it had about over 20 laces in it, and I charged like $20 or something like that, laces and trims. And I have one left in my shop. If you want to go over and look at it, about $23, and it has different kinds of pink pattern. But I also have a lavender purple one. So you can go look at that one in my shop also. Now that you're talking about where I get stuff. Yes. So go in my shop and you will find I have my stuff in categories because I sell several things. I sell my handmade supplies in there, so I have most of my handmade things under handmade. Then I have another category that's marked craft jewelry. Go in that category and you'll find craft jewelry. Then I have another category that's marked vintage. My vintage pieces, which could be anything. I sell a lot of like just I even sell vintage. I'm going to be listing a lot more vintage flowers. I have vintage pip berries in there, and then I have vintage. I could have a plate, a rose plate, a teacup. I could have right now. I just listed today this beautiful cat that I found. But so this is a simple way. Yeah, just head on over. I just do. I added vintage when I was feeling like I needed to add something to my shop because I needed to bring in a little extra income. And then I started reselling on eBay. And then I just discovered that, you know what? I'm the happiest when I can go look for vintage things. And there, when I say vintage for Etsy, it doesn't mean like an antique. It's just 20 years or older most of the time. Something, whatever I have is 20 years or older. So like in my Facebook group, I shared that I had found some fabric that was new fabric, but it was vintage, 1980s or so, and I put it in my shop, and it's actually selling. Um, and I purchased some things I purchase in bulk, and then I resell them. And sometimes, oh, so there we go. Oh, it actually even looks bigger than this one. So you can see how cute that is. And I just rolled it. So for this one, what I tried doing, which actually works, is I just put like spots of glue throughout it just to hold it, made sure this was level, and then I put the glue on the felt or glue on here, and then I glued it onto the felt. Okay, that's what I did with this one. So you don't have to put as much glue if you don't want, if it's hard for you to work with too much glue on a piece of lace. But you can see how easy that is. Simple, dimple. I used this lace right here. I only have a little bit of pink, but I have pink. It looks like I have ivory, white, red, green. That's all I have. I purchased some that I think I bought it during the holiday season, so I bought green and red. And I have this in my shop right now. I think it's like I said, $2 a yard. And so you would be able to, with $2, you'd be able to make how many is that? Half and half, eight, four flowers with that. And this one might be a little more, might be closer to $3 a yard, and you'd still be able to get, it's bigger. You can see that's three of them. Okay, and then let me show you this one, and then we'll go back to another white one. Okay, very simple. I like to make things. And so what I do is if I make a big, beautiful, you see that I make my wreaths, right? I could use one, if I choose this color, I say, okay, I need a little pink. I might take my beautiful flowers like these, and then I might add a little bit of pink with it in my flowers as I'm organizing and making my designs. So I don't only exclusively use these, I also hand make them with this technique that I'm going to show you. Oh, hi Betty. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. I see a lot of people are up from the COVID-19 because I have 17 people. Yeah, I do this sporadically, guys. You're in Canada? Okay. I recently took off all my international shipping for my shop because it's been so uncertain and I just didn't want to run into problems. But if you ever go to my shop and you want something shipped to Canada, I will ship international. Just let me know. And I just didn't want a lot of problems with different people ordering. So anyway, so this same thing, this is a vintage lace I have in my shop. And I love this. The reason I wanted this lace is because I thought it would be perfect for my tassels, like for my wreaths that I make, and maybe to use inside my angels. If you've looked at my shop, my Etsy, my YouTube channel, you might have seen that I make angels, and I wanted to use this for that. And so when I bought it, I said, well, I bought enough, I can put some in my shop. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to see how it, when I experiment, I experiment with how much I'm going to use. So I think I used the 9 inches on this. I'm not for sure, but I'm going to cut 9 inches and we will decide. This time I'm going to use the technique I've shown you, which that I call my technique with the hairpin. I call it a la Liz technique. And I just took this lace, and you can do this with any, this is a thin, very thin lace. Okay, so you can do it with this one. I wouldn't be able to cut petals on it because I did, when I cut it, it will unravel. So I have a hairpin, just a small one, because it's a thin lace. I would probably use a small hairpin. And I just push it down the center. You could actually sew this too. You can sew this together and it'll probably work also. As you can see, it's starting to form a flower already. So this is using a very thin lace. This one could be used in one of your vintage flowers as part of the center to give it a lot of, look how pretty that looks, very simple. And so sometimes I use things that I might not show you how to use it, but I will take these types of things and make a flower. Say, this looks a lot like a vintage tea-dyed doily flower. And so when I put this in, I usually put it through the hairpin. And this is just a string. This is a crochet string, like the kind that you would use to make doilies. I just have never made a doily like that with it, but I use it in my crafting. If you've watched my channel, you've probably seen it before. And then I knot it there. Oh, I have the window open, so somebody's up. My neighbors, I think they were going out with their bikes. Hopefully they don't rev them. Okay, so now we just made a cute flower. Simple dimple flower with that very thin lace. You can do this also with fabric. You don't, I've probably shown it to you before. And it has the thin fabric, the thin laces. You just cut a strip about the size you want. This one happens to be let's see how wide this lace is. And usually whatever width, this is a 2-inch lace, so it actually makes a 2-inch flower. See that? So here, so this one came out flatter, so I probably didn't use the same amount of lace. You use a little bit less lace. It might be a little not as full. And you can see how easy and simple that is. Now, like I said before, I use the hairpin and then I tie the knot. If you like to sew, you can use a needle and thread and go down the center of it and do that also. But I don't know, I prefer using the hairpin. It's easier than threading a needle and finding a needle and all that stuff. Okay, so for this one, I don't think I have any bling out right now. I didn't bring any bling out. You can put whatever you want in the center there. Oh yes, that's what I do. Now when it comes to the edges here, what I'll usually do is if it's kind of uneven, I'll make it even, and I make them touch like this. Oh, that's my, oh, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but they have a trailer there. It sounds like they're unloading their bikes, or they have like those 3-wheelers. And I put a tiny bit of glue there and then join them together. You can see how I kind of touched it lightly and then kind of gently, just to make it glue and not get all over my hands so much that it'll burn me. So putting them together, like this side doesn't even seem like it really has to have it. So you can choose the option to put it on or not. Now the other cool thing about this technique is that you can take this technique and say you want to attach this to something. You can also use a thin wire and you could attach it, or you can attach it with the actual string that you used here. I attach things a lot of times like with the string or a wire. I attach it and then I maybe might back it up with a little bit of glue. Sometimes I'll do that. There we go. All right, so we're going to go, after this one, we're going to go back to that white one I made. Okay, there's a little glue. So simple dimple flowers. So I got the idea that, hey, I got to show them something. I haven't been teaching for a while. I did show you the last thing I think I showed you was how I made that little miniature hat, which I think they all sold. I think the only thing I have left in my shop are the purple ones because I made 4 purples. Can I show you a wreath? Can you show us a wreath? Oh, my trims. I purchased, these are in my shop. I have an Etsy shop called Crafty Devotion on Etsy in my store, in my shop. Basically you could either type like an Etsy Crafty Devotion and some of my listings will come up. I'm trying to type it in my tags because, and then, but look for my shop, follow the link so you can find my shop. Or if you go to the corner, the lower corner with the arrow, I usually have a link to my Etsy shop that goes in there automatically. Even though I don't go and update, there's one that goes in there automatically. And so I showed you in the beginning a lot of the new laces I had. I got a lot of dangle laces or fringe laces that have the long dangles. I even have a 9-inch one that I love. Okay, so what else? Okay, we're gonna make this again. Okay, why don't I, let me see if I have a piece. Where did I put with it? Over here. See if it's 9 inches. If not, we can make it with less, or I can get a, I think I'll get a piece out. Yeah, it's about 6 inches. This one was I used 9. So guess what's handy? The little bit of pink I have. I do have a few yards of the pink, but I did not put them in my shop because it's not enough for you guys. Okay, so here we go. So here I go. Let me show you. So here I showed you that what I did was I have the white one in my shop. I do not have the pink because I only have a few yards of it. And what I did was I wanted to get 4 or a measurement of how many flowers you can get out of the 1 yard. And so if you cut your 1 yard into 4 pieces, you should get the right amount. So this is 9 inches. So 9 inches is a quarter of a yard. So I used 9 inches to make these ones. You could use less, it'll just be smaller. Okay, the first thing I did, let me cut that a little better, is this is a pleated lace, a pleated trim. It's a satin on one side, the other side is kind of more matte. So my goal has been to get the satin more on the front of my flower, so mostly satin shows on the flower, not so much of the matte, because I like the satin look. It gives it that elegant look. So I decided to kind of give you guys a measurement, and my measurement for you guys was to tell you that I'm going to roll it to about 3 pleats. 1, 2, 3. So if you would roll it yourself, say you have a different length or width, you might want to mow more or less. You just have to experiment. Okay, so then what I'm doing is I'm using just my hot glue, and I'm going to roll it, and I'm not doing it really, really tight, but I am rolling it so that just this little part right there, that's where it's gathered or pleated, that's the part I'm putting glue on and rolling. So up to this pin was about 3. Well, probably right before the pin, so we'll do there. And I'll just roll it so that the matte part is on the inside. So now the shiny part's outside and the matte part's inside, harder to see. Okay. And did 3. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to go around one more time. And I'm going to just do it. I'm going to choose another 3 right there. I am holding this quite gently and just touching the glue onto the piece. See? So I went around once, and I went around one more time. About, doesn't have to be exact, but the purpose I'm doing it like this is because when you see the center, you want mostly the satin to show. That's why I'm doing it this way. And then when I'm done with that, I actually go the opposite way, because then it starts flaring out. And when it flares out, I want the satin to show. So then I'm just going to go the opposite way, opposite direction. I'm going to put some glue and it gets all sealed up because you end up going around it again, so it really doesn't matter. So I do one more roll, one more all the way around the opposite way. And see, here's where I started. So I'm going to finish that up and then I'm going to stop again. I went about 2 of them. That's good. There we go. And now see, if you wanted to use about half of this, you could make a really small one like that. But what I'm going to do is that now that it has more form and substance, I'm going to work from the underside. I'm going to kind of flatten it a little bit. Careful, it's wet. And instead of putting it up against straight, which you can do, and it'll just make a tighter looking flower, I wanted my flower to be a little more open. You can see how it lies a little flat. And what I did was, instead of putting it, snugging it right up next to it anymore, now I'm going to start laying it down so that this edge here is touching the little threads that are holding the ruffle together. So it's going to go like this. It's going to start going flat, and the flatness opens it up. So if you forget to do the flatness, if you just roll this thing, it's going to look pretty. Okay. The tips I'm showing you are ways to make it look more open, show the satin more, make it look more like a flower. And it's always fun to make like flowers that look beautiful that you made yourself. It's just so rewarding. I enjoy making flowers, and I can make layered flowers. I can make all kinds of folded flowers, different things like that. And but sometimes these types of flowers, it's quite simple. It comes out fast. The reward is like, ooh, I did that myself. It's so pretty and so fast. So sometimes, so I'll take all kinds of my laces and just mess with them sometimes, and then the ideas come to me. So like I said, I only have white in my shop of this one, and I only have like about 15 to 20 yards or so. So if you want to get this actual one. So some of us like the pink. Oh, you understand it now? Okay. There. And so let's say that you take this. So now you can see how it formed. It kind of lies down. You see it kind of went flatter. So let's say I would take this piece. I'm going to go ahead, and you would just roll it, and you keep on rolling, and you don't do what I did, like the little tiny little changes I made. You don't have to do them. If you just keep on rolling it, it's going to look pretty. See? Look at it. I'm just rolling it, and it looks pretty. Doesn't matter. It looks pretty. But you can see here how the satin is not showing on top now. The satin's on the bottom. That's why I turn it around. That's why I now, so you can actually roll it the opposite way with the satin inside. And that's a good choice too, because then when you roll it that way, when it gets bigger like that, then the satin starts showing for the ones that lie down. See? So that's the only little trick. The reason I showed you those little tricks was just so that you can, so if you want to just roll a little flower, easy peasy with this one or with this one. I'm going to still keep my eyes out to find more ruffles. Someday I'll have more of those in my shop. But I think that's, oh no, I do have another one. I just have these, and it's so pretty. I only got a sample. I don't have a lot of it. See, I like all kinds of stuff. And there's another one. So if you have any type of ruffle trim, you should be able to do the same thing with it and just roll it. If it gets too tight, then start changing it, opening it up a little more. And it just forms a little flower, as you can see. And I show you a lot of these types of things when I have a series called, I think it's Doily Deconstruction. something like that. And I take all the, I show you all ways to take apart doilies and use them as lace, to use them as different things. And I make flowers with just a small little doily. I make, I just show you different things on that. So if you haven't seen that series, you can see that series, and you don't have to do exactly what I do. You just it can give you an idea on ways to do things, and learn some of my tricks that I do and make. But I think, does anybody have, hi Luce, I showed you how to make these flowers. I just finished showing you guys how to make these flowers, which is the satin. In the beginning of this video, I showed you some of my new laces, and then I wanted to really just show you how to make these flowers, because I thought that some of you might have different things in your at home and you're home trying to craft. But I always like to encourage you, I always like to encourage you to, that you don't have to buy new stuff all the time. You can use what you have and make beautiful things. And so if you have any ruffle fabric, any ruffle lace, this would be easy to make. And I just showed you how to make those beautiful little flowers. Or if you have a thin fabric lace, easy to make this. If you cut it, this one was 2 inches wide. You can cut it 3 inches wide and make a beautiful flower with a fabric like that. And I have tutorials on all these things. If you don't know, in my, I have tried to put my things in like playlists, so you can kind of find things. So if you, I might have a playlist that has all my flower making. I might have a playlist that shows you all the projects I've made, things like that. And you can find the playlist and kind of just go watch whatever's in there. And I've been meaning to update them, but everything takes time. But I think that's all I really want to show you, just how to make these simple flowers. And I have other ideas of more flowers, and I might show those as I keep on going. But it just depends. I've already been on for 40 minutes, 42. Well, thanks for hanging around, and I hope that this gives you guys ideas on things you can do at home. Oh, you've been home alone, Angel? Angel Heart, that's what she's called. I can't remember what you said your first name was. That's her YouTube tag. You've been home alone? Oh. Well, I'm not alone. I have been really busy. Um I think sometimes just coming on and showing you, I have tons of videos you guys could be looking at that are old. I haven't, that are teach you a lot of things, and you can take things and leave things, get ideas from. But for the most part, I think sometimes we just need to be social. And I just haven't been very social because I'm so busy trying to run my business. And my husband hasn't been working right now. So it's really important that I keep on working there. And then we have, now that the COVID things are going on, I know there's a lot of people crafting, because I'm getting sales like every day, whether it's, sometimes it's a big order, sometimes it's a little order. And from my Etsy shop, I keep on selling supplies. And I'm selling a few of my vintage things, but mostly supplies. Like if it's vintage, it was fabric I just sold today, just a yard or something. But so I know people are keeping busy with their hands. Oh, they don't want you to be exposed. Yes, that's the way it is. So she said she's 65. Well, I am, how old am I? I was going to say I was 67, but that's too old. I'm 57. And I'm still have to protect myself too. So that was actually one of the reasons why my husband, um, yeah, check out my videos. I have tons of videos, and they'll inspire you. I have a lot of different ways to make flowers. And this time I thought, well, I wanted to kind of share a little bit of my laces. And I said, well, why don't I also show you some of the flowers you can make with similar laces? Oh yes, we just had a Zoom. March says she's only seeing people with Zoom. Yes, a lot of us are isolated. So I thought this might hopefully inspire some of you guys who are there home by yourselves, and things like that. Even though I'm not like editing the film or anything like that, at least I'm here showing you something, and hopefully you get inspired to keep busy. Know you're not alone, that we're all out there. And if you want to chat with me, I'm always on Facebook. I'm always checking my Facebook messages Just look for uh, my group is Crafty Devotion Boutique. My but I also have my business page. Facebook is just Crafty Devotion. And I recently started posting more of my things on Pinterest. I have a little bit on Instagram, not much, but I try. But you would have seen my laces. If you go to my Facebook group and page, you would see like I recently listed some laces, and I'm just shipping still. The post office is going, so I'm still shipping, but I'm also keeping busy. Our 6-year-old can sometimes get yeah, require a lot, but my husband's been home, so he's been able to allow me to work, and, that's what I've been doing. Work, 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 and I decided I wanted to design. I get tired of working. Yes, time goes by fast when you're making flowers. That's exactly. It's so inspiring. Then you wanna say, "Well, what can I do with all these flowers?" I could show you that too. So, say you wanna use this flower, you decide that I wanna put this on a gift for someone or a basket, attached to a basket. What you do is that you will get a ribbon or a piece of, whatever, wire or a string, and you put it on the back like this. And then over the top, you can put either a piece of the lace or some felt over it. And then now when it gets glued on, now you can use the string to attach it, if that makes sense. These ones, this style, my a la list technique, they already have a string. So you can actually use that string to attach it to a basket. You can attach it to, a gift. You can just do all kinds of things with that. So the same with this one. You see it has a little felt. This one doesn't have any felt. You could attach first the string and then put a piece of ribbon or something and then put felt over, and that will keep it on so that you can attach it easily, or you can just glue it on, depending on what you're doing, you know. But you can also attach this to a band, and you can make a little wristlet. So easy. I think I made those one year. But okay, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you guys are. Um, I know it's different being isolated, but you guys got to stay healthy. I've been home a lot. My husband's the one that goes out and does any shopping we need, or I'm ordering online. So that's basically what I'm doing if I really need something. And I'm doing a lot of work at home. So I will talk to you guys next time, and I hope you guys are inspired by my flower making and you make your own flowers with what you have at home. Or if you look at my tutorials, you'll see that I tell you, hey, go pull out a shirt and make a flower with it. Cut it up in squares and make a flower with it. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I do enjoy teaching and sharing with you a lot of my ideas because they just keep on coming all the time. Okay, I'll talk to you guys next time.